This is Sandy Shores in GTA 5, and I counted every building here to see what percent of this small town is actually abandoned. Sandy Shores is considered one of GTA's most dilapidated and failing towns, but I wanted to see if this was true and if there's still humanity in a town like this. To complete this survey, we are going to be going block by block and observing every building we see to determine if it is abandoned or not. Entering from the east, we find a road mostly full of commercial buildings, Sandy's gas station, which had a nice splash of color, and a 24/7 supermarket, which was a little rough, but still open. These businesses took up most of these first blocks. Next was a joint barber and auto shop, where they appeared to be selling cold hard lube. While doing a little research, I found this guy on the GTA forums who found the real-life counterparts to many of these in-game locations. This one was based off an auto parts and laundry in Desert Shores, California. To the right was a Chinese cafe of some sorts, with cool flags hanging above. Once again, this guy found that this building is a direct reflection of Lee's Chinese Kitchen in Desert Shores. Pretty crazy detective work, I must say. The biggest non-abandoned building in Sandy Shores was next, the medical center and police station, which is also probably the nicest looking place in town. Onto the third block off Main Street was the first house, as well as the local fire station holding up the American flag high in the air. That means for the first 3 blocks, there were a total of 7 buildings and none of them were abandoned, but that number won't stay at 0 forever. Moving back 1 row, we see Trevor's house and his red truck outside in all its glory. Right behind Trevor's house is a large 2-story liquor store, which is still in business. In this block, there were 2 more houses, a blue one with a few folks on the porch, and a trailer where this lady came out to flirt with me after seeing my sick helmet. The next block held another house and a large garage, as well as a tattoo shop with a nice mural. I'm guessing the only tattoos they do over here are American flags and guns. Circling the block, we find another 3 houses, all inhabited, along with some trash and an abandoned van, but that seems to be the usual in Sandy Shores. This next area was a little more interesting. Along with another house was this construction site, which I decided not to include, and this really bad looking trailer with this beater outside. Other than that, this block was super empty, except for these weird benches. After accidentally running over a chicken, I witnessed the hourly Sandy Shores police chase. While running away, this dude just straight up drove into a tree. As soon as he tried to get away, someone hit him with their car, right as the cops unloaded every bullet they had on him. Officers were taking shelter, people were running, but I don't even know why they were doing this. He literally got hit by a truck and shot like 50 times. The next block was decently empty as well, holding a lone warehouse/auto parts store. It did have a little cool junkyard. Moving on, we can finally add some abandoned places to our list. This lot was full of trashed cars, tires, and houses, but I was distracted after seeing this ginormous hog. Had to shoot the sucker. I found these 2 abandoned shacks, one with a mattress and one with a sofa. There was another with an upside down car outside. It also seems like someone called the cops on me after I shot that hog. But it's a free country. I can shoot what I want, so the cop left. Before covering the almighty motel, there's a row of abandoned houses right out front. This one had some cool graffiti on the roof. This trailer looks like it sunk into the ground. This one, I don't even know what this was. And finally, there is this weird shirtless guy standing in what looked like to be an old stable. That means that this section had a total of 19 buildings, and 7 of them were abandoned. If I'm gonna be honest though, I don't know how to count the motel yet, so we'll have to do some of the back blocks first. I find yet another abandoned building, this one a trailer which seems to have lost all of its paneling. Next door is a house with some dudes arguing outside, probably talking about the losers in the city. However, I came to my first roadblock. I encountered this trailer which I thought looked super abandoned, but this man was sitting outside it, so it must have been his house. But with the condition, I will still say it's abandoned because people can still live in abandoned places. Just look at this place, pure filth. The ammunition was definitely not abandoned, especially in Sandy Shores. This place probably makes more money than the ones in Los Santos combined. There was another roadblock though, as this building seemed abandoned, with boards over the windows, but there was a car outside. However, I don't think that means much, so I'll say it's still abandoned. There was also this tiny little trailer, which I didn't count. The following block looked more promising. A house with people gathered outside, and a dog grooming shop run out of someone's house. I found this party happening above another house, so I wanted to go see if I could join. These guys' reaction made me think Trevor might not be as well liked in Sandy Shores as I thought, until they walked away and I made my way up. It gave a pretty good view, but I was on the job, so I had to continue. Behind was another house that had a trailer, a dinghy, and a golf cart with no roof. All interesting choices. Across from the rooftop party was another party in an empty lot. This one seemed way more inviting, but I couldn't stay. In this block, I found another house along with this monstrosity. And thanks to the man himself from earlier, I learned that this abomination is real, and it's in Bombay Beach. Just wild. Along with the windmill house, there's a total of 3 homes in this block. But now I have to count the monster block. 1 trailer, 2 trailers, 3 trailers. Oh, and this one with a suspiciously looking chop outside. Just more and more trailers. So many people, cars, and boats in this little area. I also captured this beautiful video as I was leaving. All in all, there are 7 in this one block. So that means in this section, there are again 19 buildings, but this time only 3 abandoned. To end the night off after a long day of counting and analyzing, I went back to the rooftop party, where everyone started staring at me. I left and went back to the better party, enjoying the sunset. By the time morning had come, I was already back at it, covering the section on the Alamo Sea. This first block had a nice red house, a trailer, and the house of some kind people who let me borrow their ATV. This house also had a weird half-trailer in the back. However, right next door was this really weird abandoned house. Inside were messages written in blood, stuff in jars, and the vibe was very off. But in California, it'd probably go for at least $800K. Behind it was another trailer. I saw something on the beach, so I went to check it out. Tons of trash and what looks like some old piers. Nothing I can say is an abandoned building though. The next block had a house owned by a guy with a cool headband. There was another abandoned trailer as well as a van next door. I did like this nice blue house, but it was surrounded on both sides by abandoned houses. This one wasn't actually too bad, and the mattress looked decently clean, better than most motels in California. There was a shack next door, inhabited this time. For being right next to the water, there's a lot of abandoned buildings here. This next block was held entirely by this one house with a huge junkyard. It was pretty cool, with a bus and tons of old cars. Right on the water is one of my favorite abandoned places in the whole game, even probably more than the motel. It's the boathouse, an old restaurant. The design is sweet, with the boat up top. I also like how there's some burnt out cars still in the parking lot. Right by the boathouse, I also found this mysterious abandoned structure. I have no clue what it used to be. Leave your guesses in the comments. Now I have to move on to the huge blocks. Luckily, they aren't super dense or cramped. The first house had an old school ride outside. Right by it was another abandoned trailer, a copy of the one from before. And there's a copy of the red shack as well. Next were 2 houses that looked like a fort you tried to build in the forest when you were a kid. Spray painted were the words, "Save the Sands," which I don't really understand, but feel free to let me know. On the other side was one more abandoned shack and one more abandoned trailer, right in front of the motel. Going back, I found a super tiny house and some people drinking outside a tiny trailer. I wouldn't count that trailer, but this one over here I did. It was right next to this other trailer, which I'm guessing is where those 2 people live. I really liked the garden decor. Now on to what everyone's been waiting for, the motel. Driving over, I passed by a bus that looked like it had been cut in half. The motel is just a sad place, with tweakers and homeless people everywhere. Even though it is super large and there's tons of rooms, I'm still only going to count it as 1. I did find another abandoned building over here, so there's another on the list. I made sure to get out of there as quick as I could. Didn't want to end up in a jar or have my blood used to make messages on some walls. The next block is where Trevor Phillips Industries is located. Right by it is a gas station, which I thought was abandoned since there's no gas pumps, but I think they're still doing stuff inside, and it probably isn't legal. Also in this block, there's another abandoned red shack, a house that had tons of people all chilling outside, and then a house with even more people chilling outside. There were 2 more inhabited places here, but they're a little boring compared to the others. Before we head a little out of town, in this last section of Sandy Shores, there were 32 buildings, and a whopping 15 of them were abandoned. But now we have to count the buildings to the west of Sandy Shores. But I won't be going into Stab City. On the outskirts of Sandy Shores was yet another abandoned trailer, very lonely all by itself. It gets very empty very quickly out here. There's a large open area over here where people go to check out the cool telephone poles going into the water and checking out the floating cars. There's this weird portion of Sandy Shores a decent bit from the main area. It holds a radio tower and a connecting building, which I don't think looks abandoned. There are 2 buildings next door that are for sure abandoned though. This auto parts one, and this one that may have been a theater back in the day. Down the street, there's another abandoned building, this one appearing to be a restaurant. These ladies chose to stand in the worst place possible. I wouldn't even get near this building. And of course, basically the only open place down here is a liquor store. For like 1 p.m., this place is hopping. Across the street is another abandoned building. This one seems to be like an old repair shop or gas station. As I drove in, this rat started scurrying away. And I didn't even know they had rats in this game. Guess what I found on the beach behind the liquor mart? I bet you won't get it. It's another abandoned building. This one may be like a public restroom or something. I don't know. It appears the only reason people come to this area is to smoke, walk their dog, drink, or fish. Going all the way to the end of this road, we find a warehouse that may have been converted into a bar or gang hangout spot. This dude was leaving, and it doesn't really look like it's fully abandoned. This area was also chock full of cats for some strange reason. Next door, you wouldn't guess, an abandoned building. Wow. There's a warehouse across the street that isn't abandoned, however. I also came across this weird place, but it seemed kind of cut off from Sandy Shores, so I didn't include it in the final count. This means that the final count is in. Sandy Shores has a total of 88 buildings, 56 inhabited, and 32 abandoned, meaning that Sandy Shores has an abandonment percentage of around 36%. Even though this is extremely high, I found a lot of humanity and really enjoyed my time here in Sandy Shores. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.